So we're starting on the tiling. It's very scary. I'm not really looking forward to it. We've been in the lounge all morning cutting some tiles up. So we've had to get 4 tiles in a sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern that we're going to start from the base and then work up. Because it's herringbone, this centre line doesn't work as a centre line. We have to have 2 centre lines. Where the tiles will go like this, the centre line of that will actually be directly through the middle of it, not along like these points. It will be in the middle. So it's made it a lot tougher to try and work out, and that has been my template to try and work out the centre. So I have got a fold, and then I've got the centre point for this one and the centre point for that one, and then I've put in some lines so that the herringbone can be at a 45-degree angle, and then that's my base. So the plan for now is to get this template drawn up onto the wall itself. So I've got a Sharpie, a couple of different size rulers, pencil, and I need to get my protractor back out because I need that 45-degree angle. It's a lot of mathematics, because there's a lot of templates and measurements, and yeah, I don't know how this is going to go.
Feeling about the first tiles going on the wall?
Fantastic.
Super nervous.
I feel amazing. This is where we're at with the tiling. It's actually going alright. Pretty sure I've got it centred, and once I was confident with that, I've started to move along, but we've had to stop because of the plug socket here. It needs, we've created some templates, and we're going to have to cut a tile, just nick it across there, and then it will fit in that space, but we're going to have a lot more plug sockets to go all the way around. So we've created some more, we've got loads of these templates that we're going to have to like put up to the wall and cut into place. So these are the plug sockets that we're dealing with. These are obviously going to be a massive problem. I don't quite know how we're going to do that yet, but we are stopping for lunch. We need to go to Sainsbury's and buy some food because we've got nothing in the house, because our kitchen looks like this. We don't have any food. So yeah, when it gets to here, the tiles are going to be really awkward. But for now, it's just going to have to be like little bits taken out so we can fit it here. So that'll go like that, that'll go like that, we'll go like that, and then once it gets up here, like that's going to have to be a weird cut. So probably like, oh yeah, near enough the same there actually. It's nice to know. And then like a nick across there, and we put this in first. So this is just the finisher with a bit of the adhesive. It's not stuck in that corner particularly well, but once we've got the tiles up there, it should hold a bit better. But that's just to finish off the line and make it look neat. And we've just used like a regular white adhesive that came from the same website as we bought the tiles from, which is, I think it's Walls and Floors. Yeah, Walls and Floors. And that's the tile that we have, plush antique shine tiles. So where did we start? It was these two that started. So you start with these, it was like the 4 method. We watched a YouTube video of this lady who did it. So you have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they are your main tiles, and you just keep copying that all the way along. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll be the same again, and it will just keep going around, and that's your base, and then you build from that. So that's how we did it there. And then obviously I've moved to this side and gone up that row, and then I'll do another one there, and then go up another row. It's just to keep it all in line and in place, I suppose. And these are obviously the tiles that we're starting to cut. So the lines aren't particularly straight, but it'll be grouted and then sealed, so it doesn't really matter. I think how we're doing so far is okay. But obviously, neither Sam or myself are natural tilers. We've not been taught how to do this. We've just watched a lot of YouTube videos, basically what I'm doing here, on how to do the tiling. So there was a B&Q video actually that was really, really helpful. And obviously I've watched other people from around the world doing tiling, especially along like this edging, and particularly how to do herringbone, because it's a lot more tricky than just a regular subway tile in a flat line. It's going better than I thought it was. Touch wood. Do a cuddle. We can do it. Come on. Oi. Okie dokie. We're gonna do this with a cat on the shoulder. This is as far as we're gonna go today. I've done a little bit more. I've done another row there and I started on that row, but now we're going to start hitting the sockets, and we need to work out how to turn them all off so that we can unscrew them, take them apart a little bit, and then put the tile behind. We had another problem. If you can see this line here, we did have like the finisher glued on already, ready for cutting all of the new bits. However, it went a bit wrong because it's beveled. It did fit, and then we didn't kind of take into account the fact that once we cut it, the other bit, the non-beveled part, is thicker, so it didn't fit underneath, and we had to rip it off. So we're gonna have to go back to B&Q. Anything to add, Monkey? You can probably hear Sam using the axle around in the garden. Step back too a little bit. So, as you can see, we've been going around the plug socket today. It's actually been easier than I thought it was going to be, because we've been using stencils. So we've had like I've been using random bits of paper, putting it up against the wall, and then making a shape of the tile that I needed. And then Sam's been taking that, I mark it onto a tile. So, mark it onto the tile with some water-based pen. And Sam's taking it into the garden using the axle grinder, and he's also got a tile cutter, so whatever one he thinks is best to use, he's doing. And then I know you're supposed to put it straight onto the wall, but because they're such small tiles and it's a difficult to reach area going around this, I'm having to put it on with a spatula, whatever this is, putting it on with, I think it's a wallpaper scraper, like a little one, and then making the shapes that I need for the adhesive to stick with the trowel. Of course it's the trowel, with the trowel, because this is still too thick for the tile that we actually have. So you can see that it doesn't, I can't do one. So that's how I've been doing it, and it is sticking, so it's obviously good, okay? Yeah, it's just tricky at the moment because we're trying to get around these light sockets. So we've got all of these under the cupboard lights, but they are stuck to the cabinet. I think it's like double-sided glue foam or something, but they won't come off very easily, so we're really having to like jab it out of there. And as you can see, this one's like limply hanging on for dear life at the moment. We can get it back on, but I'm having to move it like further out from the wall so that I can get the tile behind it, because obviously we want to still be able to access the light just in case we need to change any wires or anything in the future. Done?
A little bit.
Okay, yeah. So Sam's just cut that little bit on the axe grinder outside, and then I can finish that bit off there. And then that side is done, and then after lunch we're going to come back and work our way across the ceiling bit. We had to buy a new trim because the one we had wasn't big enough, so we got a 6mm, and this is a 10mm. 6mm, and we needed a 10mm because once it was cut, no, it's a milliliter.
Oh, that's not right.
It's not right. Because we'd taken in the bevel, but not the actual width, of the tile itself. So it has to be a 10 to actually fit the tile underneath. So we have to rip it off, use a chisel to get all of the dried stuff off, and then sand it back down flat. It's really annoying, but once after lunch we'll get that up nice and tidy, tile along the top, and then hopefully move across to that side. I'd like to get at least this wall done today.
Yeah.
I think it's doable.
Get all the far sockets done.
Just a bit of reality for you here. I'm sitting on the worktop trying to get into this corner because I genuinely don't understand how professional tilers do this. I just couldn't get in here to do it. Maybe because I'm so small. I am 5'3", I am tiny. But yeah, this is like the best way for me to do it. This is where we're at. We've been doing all the sockets, which has been a pain. It'll just be the grouting afterwards. We're still debating on what colour to use. And we still need to do along here, but I just really wanted to get one side done. Obviously we've not done that side, and we've not even started over there yet. And that's how much tiling adhesive we've used so far. It was going down really fast, but now it's not too bad. I think we probably will be okay. That looks like about a third, doesn't it? Hi.
No.
Done?
Weird one.
Nice. This one is the super syringe shape. It's got to go in the bottom corner down here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to need some like random skinny bits to go right in the corner, and then I've got to make a template for you for the top, but I'm doing that now. And that's where we're leaving it. End of the day. My back is killing me. Sam's knees are really hurting. I've got dinner in the oven. It's literally just chicken and onion rings because we can't be able to cook anything, and we also don't have a hob, so we are very restricted in what we can eat right now. And also it's 9 o'clock at night, so I think we're kind of done with the day. We've almost finished it. There's like little nicks like here and here, but we're not going to do them now because it's just like painstaking stuff, and I just don't care anymore. Everything hurts. Good morning. It's Friday. We have come down to no tiles missing from the wall, so that's already a good sign. And we're going to start on this back wall. We're going to start on this back wall today. We've got 2 sockets to get around. I am finding some problems with the vinyl at the moment because we've obviously got so much on the work surfaces. We had to use some like old
massage towels.
Like old sports massage towels that Sam has to try and protect the surface, because I only used like the back of the scourer, like the back of the sponge, to wipe off some of the adhesive from it, and it has already taken off some of the, what do you say, like the varnish?
Just the finish. Yeah. Just
the finish. So it's made like a white mark now where it's taken off the colour of the wood. So that was really annoying. But I'm glad I've seen that now. Before I like scoured the whole kitchen, and then I was like, ah, great, that looks fantastic. So it's just in this corner down here. Can't do anything about it now, it's all down, but we just need to be quite careful with it. Be very protective of the surfaces, chopping boards, plates. Don't put any knives down, nothing sharp, nothing heavy. So yeah, that's annoying.
Just don't use the kitchen.
Don't use the kitchen.
Show kitchen now.
Yeah. That's as far as we're going to get today. I've managed to do the corner, which I was kind of worried about, and we've got one plug socket done, and the other one, it's really hard to do backwards. This one, just like a couple, one more going that way, and then that socket's done, and then we don't have to worry about that. And also this light, it's also kind of tricky to go around. We just need to make sure there's a bit more space there. That's it for today. We'll carry on over the weekend and also buy some grout once we've decided what colour to use, because I still don't know. I did an Instagram poll, and it was pretty much like neck and neck for every single colour, which was really not helpful. So we finished this whole side. We've done all the little nicky bits, and all the edges are all finished, and the same with this bit. So this is all completely done. As long as nothing falls off, this is done, and then we'll grout once everything else is done. We are moving on to this side now, and we've been trying to decide what to put on the windowsill, because we're not going up the sides here, we're just going on the sides here and around, but we are going on the top. We're trying to decide whether to just do flat tiles like that coming out, or subway, or like an off-kilter subway, but I think we've decided on just like a traditional subway. And then once that is on, we can add the trim to the edge of that, and then carry on with the herringbone underneath. So then once the herringbone is in, it will look neat, and then it won't look so weird. But just to save time and effort, we don't really want to herringbone the top of it, because there's also no point. There's going to be stuff all over it. We want it to be a bit more
sturdy.
Yeah, a bit more sturdy.
Flat base, or are you just doing the bottom?
Not on the inside, so we're not going up here because of the blind. The blind comes out too much, so we can't.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do a trim along there, cut it 45 degrees, do a trim along to up to here. Good morning. It's Sunday today. Both of us are pretty much done with this, but we're not done. We still have more to do, but I mean, like, we're done. I can't be bothered anymore. Both of us just, it's 11 o'clock. We've only just got up and put on our, like, working clothes because both of us are just absolutely wiped. We are knackered. We keep getting up really early and then working until we lose the sun, and it's just like, It's tiring, but I'll show you how I got on yesterday because I didn't actually film very much. We just wanted to try and whip through as much as we possibly could. We started doing the trim and we started on this corner and started on the windowsill, so we just need to carry on today. So with the windowsill we went with traditional subway because we just thought it'd be easier and it would look the cleanest out of all of our options. We did look at doing it this way and we looked at just doing like that, but we played around with it and that just looked better, so we've gone with that. We just still need to do the edge here, so we need to cut a tiny bit of tile out and go along the edge. But that's done. And then we were adding the trim, which is like a bit of plastic that will just finish off the tiling. So we have to go all the way around there, all the way along here, and then we've got to do a little bit here and here. So we're gonna do that now. This should be like the 1, 2, 3, 4 method that I was using around the other side. Oh, this is the workstation. It's nice and messy. It's just full of like templates. So I've cut out a load of these and then I can use them as markers to figure out what size I need in the area. Need a spirit level to try and get it's just covered in adhesive, just to try and get all those levels straight, so I don't, bad example, but to see that that line is correct, like all the way up. So all this area is done completely. We've done all the little nicky bits as well. Just need to buy some grout today. I think we've finally decided on grey, like a mid grey. I think light grey would just be a bit meh, it wouldn't be enough. Black would just be a bit too dark in this room because it's such a small kitchen. I don't want to overpower it with black. White wouldn't clean very easily, and I've had so many people message me saying don't do white. Even though I'd love to do white, we're not going to do white. We need to start with the trim, I think that makes more sense while we can get all the measurements right while that's drying. And then we can cut some more 1, 2, 3, 4s to go along here. And we've decided we're only going to go up to this wall here, not going to go along. We were going to go along, but 1, we can't be bothered, and 2, it's not really necessary. It's not close enough to anything to need the tiling anyway, and I don't think it will look weird. We just need to kind of finish off the edges because where we've pulled off the backboard, it's ripped off a lot of the, what did you call it? Is that plasterboard?
I think it's just plasterboard.
It's ripped a lot of plasterboard off, so we need to go over it with some filler and obviously repaint it, but we're going to have to repaint little bits around the kitchen anyway. The reality of this is that we still have stuff everywhere. We have tiles all here. We've got one tiling station here, and Sam is mainly doing it all in the garden with the axle grinder because it's just giving him a better edge. The tile cutter he wasn't really loving and it kept breaking the tiles, but this is scary, which is why he's the one doing it all. Didn't think I was wearing enough grey, so I put another jumper on. We're so nearly done. We're so nearly done. It's just this tiny little corner here, blah blah, and then we've got a tiny little bit along the windowsill, and we're finished. Obviously, we need to grout, but we also need to buy the grout and find the one that was on. But just that section, and then across the top, and then we're done. Oh, you're so like. Can you see?
Not really.
That's peace.
Hey.
That's peace.
Let's hope it fits.
I should have tested it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. I'll smoosh it in. Cannot believe it. Cannot even believe. It's done. The whole of the kitchen is done aside from the windowsill. We need to do that little back bit across there. But it's done. Ta-da! We need to still buy grout and obviously grout it, but
yes,
the actual tiling is done. We can get rid of all of like the tile cutters in the garden, and it's just going to be like dust free. It's going to be amazing. I've sneezed so much the last few days, like it's really affecting my allergies, but like he's
not affecting mine.
He's like, his hair's gone grey. Well, yeah. Not, it is going grey. No, it's grey from all the dust. And yeah, dusty boy. But we're done. So, can see in those previous clips, I started doing the grouting yesterday. I did this wall here and I did all along here. Didn't want to properly vlog it until I knew what I was doing because I didn't see the point in that. I've watched a few YouTube videos on how people did the grout, and I thought it's going to be a bit more useful if I actually speak once I know what I'm doing. So this one didn't go that well. I mixed the grout a little bit too thick and it dried really quickly, so my time frame was like really cut down for getting the grout into the gaps, and then cleaning the grout honestly takes hours. You've got to scrub it all out with a little sponge to get all of the excess off, and then you've got to go around again to try and get all of the grout lines even. Basically it just took forever, and I did that one in the afternoon. I did that one last night. I did it really late actually. I did it about 10 o'clock because I was like, you know when you just get a bee in your bonnet and you want to do it, so I did it. And I couldn't do this side because I needed to turn because this is the plug socket here, this massive thing here, has everything on it, like the hob, the fridge, the light switches, and I don't want to electrocute myself. Everything needs to be turned off before I actually start doing it, so I couldn't do that last night. Hence I'm doing it this morning. This is the grout I'm using. It's cement grey in colour, which is kind of like a mid-grey with a bit of beige undertone rather than a cool tone. It needed to be a beige undertone because it's got the warm colouring. I followed a few tips online, and basically what I'm doing, quarter of a litre? Yeah, maybe about a quarter of a litre of water into a bucket, mixing it with, I've got an old wooden spoon that I don't want anymore. Mixing it all together with that, but I'm adding the grout a little bit at a time rather than, I did do measurements equally and mix it all together, but that's when it went too thick and it just effed up basically, and that's why I did on that wall. I did it bit by bit on this side and it worked much better. So that's what I'm going to do today. Yeah, and then once you've got a good consistency, you have to let it sit for a minute or two, just to, I don't know, just so it settles, I guess. And then you're ready to grout. So I've got a grout float. I'm using the curved edges to push all of the grout into the grooves. You're supposed to go in like this kind of like diagonal motion, but because they're like this, I can't do that. I've got to go in like this, which is why it's taking ages. And then any extra bits I'm using the trusty, what's this called? Wallpaper scraper. And like honestly, I don't think I would have been able to do this kitchen without this one utensil. This has been like the holy grail of this whole project. And obviously like the grouting sponge. This is like a special sponge that's, I don't know why it's special, but it's special. It's from the grouting section of B&Q. So this is what it looks like now. I have run out of grout in my bucket, so I'm gonna have to mix up some more. So that's as far as I managed to get. I've only got a little bit left, which is annoying, but I will. So you only have like a set amount of time to get it all onto the wall before it hardens. And as you can see, this colour has gone a little bit lighter than this colour, so I need to get it off ASAP. So I need to get my rubber gloves on and get that sponge, and I've really got to like get all of the crap off and start creating the grout lines and making sure they're all even, like on this side. Yeah, before, after. We are, what are we doing? Sealing. We are sealing the tiles. I've done one round, all around the tops of the tiles, the bottom of the cupboards. But because we've got the herringbone, the tiles go straight and then dip in, and then straight and then dip in. So I'm having to do a bit, put a bit more in, and it's taken ages. And that side didn't go that well, so I'm gonna have to do another round of sealant. This side's actually gone quite well, and I don't think I'm gonna have to do it again, which is nice. But this stuff is horrible. We're just using like the standard white grout because they're white tiles anyway. Using masking tape on the flat surfaces. Can't do it on the tiles because again it goes like this, so I can't do that. She's so noisy. Then using a little tub of water with some fairy liquid in and like a raggy type thing to get the excess silicone off, because it is so sticky it's horrible. I have to clean that every couple of strips. It's not very nice. So all of this sealant type business. This actually didn't go too badly, but then here where we had such a massive gap, it's a little bit bobbly, doesn't look that clean, so I'm gonna do another layer. Don't know if you're supposed to do another layer, but I'm gonna. And then this is where we started off, so this side looks a bit crap, and because we put the masking tape down here and didn't peel it off while it was still wet, once I peeled the masking tape off, it took it with it, didn't it? It was stuck.
Yeah,
the silicone was stuck to the masking tape, so we're having to rip it off to start again. It actually went pretty well. So yeah, there's some bubbles from the previous caulk that we had to rip off, but I mean, for the fact that I'm doing it myself, I think that looks okay. Yeah, and then any excess I just wipe off of that, and then this is like fairy liquid and a bit of water, so that like runs down the bead that you just made, and then any excess wipe off, and then like keep going again and again and again. But yeah, but the technique has got a lot better. Like this was how we started, and then this is how we've ended. So I've got better. Trying to find the end of the tape. Okay, got it. Run out of my first reel of masking tape, so I'm on to number 2. Thought I'd give a from start to finish situation, but I can't even get the tape off the reel to start. Step number 1 complete, masking tape for your area, and then I'm gonna caulk. This bit's okay here. I've left a little gap that I can't actually show you, but I've left a little gap here because it's not too bad, so I'm going to caulk all the way along here, up, all the way across, and then back down this gap again. I do try and put the lid back on it every time because it just seeps out when you're not using it, and I found the best way to do it is kind of like away from you rather than, don't go that way, you want to always like go away. Okay. And then you just squeeze the tube and pray. That's literally it. And if you end up with too much on the tube, just wipe it off and start again, because once it starts getting around, then it won't glide along very smoothly. And then I'm having to add more on those little joins where the grout is because of the herringbone, basically. So I'll give myself a harder job again by having herringbone. Okay, excess off and then the lid back on. Now I'm going along with the water and the rag to get all the excess off and push the silicone into the grout lines. That seems to be the best route of doing it. Voila. Not too bad. I will accept that. It will be watertight. I'm happy with that. I've just got to do along there, probably along there as well, and then I'm just going to go and do some little touch-ups. Like I've missed a little bit on the hob here, so I just need to go in and do that bit. I can't actually believe it. It's nearly done. This kitchen has taken 2 weeks to do. Well, it's been a little while. I don't actually remember the last time I vlogged. It's got to be a good few weeks ago. It's now mid-April, but the kitchen is finito. It is done. It is all finished. Honestly, I could not be happier with it. We've been using it obviously for the past few weeks, and it's just made such a huge change to the way we live our lives. The sink in particular, oh my goodness, the fact that the stainless steel is gone and it's just this like beautiful white ceramic now makes cleaning it so much easier. It looks so much nicer. The tap is also amazing. I love the fact that I've got hot and cold coming out of the one tap, and I don't have to try and get the right temperature. But one thing I didn't even think about is that it's a really it's a longer tap, so I can fit more stuff underneath it. Like the kettle, I don't have to like get it in the sink to fill it up. I can just put it to the sink, and it's just the little things like that make a massive difference to the general way you live your life. Which sounds crazy, but honestly, I'm so glad we did this. The tiling all went really well in the end. Grouting really messy to begin with. You kind of have to trust in the process, but definitely looks good. And I'm glad we went with dark grey, because it kind of just it stands out against the rest of the kitchen. White would have been lovely, but I didn't want it to get ruined immediately, and because it's such a small kitchen, it would have been really noticeable. So yeah, we went for the mid grey. I think I just said dark grey. We went for a mid grey rather than a light or a black, because I thought it'd be somewhere in the middle. And the caulking, oh my goodness, that was a pain. That was a massive pain. But again, I got the hang of it as I started going around. Did do the sink as well, but then by the time I got to doing the sink, I forgot to do the masking tape around the edges. So that would be my absolute top tip, is to masking tape every time you caulk on both sides, and then put the caulk in between. Makes such a difference, and the line is so much smoother. I mean, I couldn't really do it very well on the herringbone, but I think I could have tried to do it on the herringbone, but because it was very like this, you'd have the tile, and then you'd have the bevel, and then you'd have the grout, so it was kind of trying to get the grout into that shape, and it wasn't very easy, but did it, really happy with it, and now I have a nice new finished kitchen. I'll do a little tour. It's not really a tour because you can see like the entire kitchen, but I'll go around in a circle so that I can speak about everything that has gone in. So I have just done the washing up, but we've got tiles from here all the way around to here. Very pleased that we didn't do it on this corner now, because it just would have looked heavy and unnecessary. So yeah, I'm glad we stopped where we did. Changed all of the handles to these black ones. These were just from Amazon, just standard black handles I searched for on Amazon. This was from Plum World, I think, as was the tap. So happy with this sink. It looks amazing, and I am so pleased with it. It just looks like, even with washing up all over it, it still looks so nice, and it's got like a nice sheen to it. Even without being like freshly washed, it always looks nice, which is just so nice. This tap is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted, the double thing, and for someone, Sam had never done plumbing before, and he managed to do it, and it works perfectly. Things you can do if you watch YouTube. Then we did all of the vinyl covers. This I have problems with because it's not as good as I wanted it to be. I'll talk about that in a minute. We did obviously tile around all of the sockets and stuff, which was very difficult, and we caulked around them as well. And we did ask an electrician if that was okay, and they said yes, because where the bevels went in so much, it left massive gaps, and it just didn't look very neat and tidy. But we used this chopping board as an aesthetic kind of cover-up anyway for those massive ones, and personally I think that looks quite nice. So that's what I do to hide that situation. And then we've got another plug socket here that's kind of covered up by the knives, because we don't use those ones anyway. We are planning on getting a new microwave, because the one we had was massive, and obviously we've not got that much surface space. We can't have very much on the sides, because then we have nowhere to cook. So yeah, eventually we'll put like a smaller microwave in that corner, and we also don't use one very much. Really perfectionist of me. These handles and the buttons and this, they all used to be copper, and I taped them all up and spray painted them black, obviously, to match with the rest of the kitchen, because our coffee machine is black and grey. These were black and grey, but then they had these copper accents, and I just didn't want anything to kind of distract the eye, and it just makes it look much neater having that black, and I'm really pleased that I did that. It's so extra, but I'm happy I did it. So yeah, this is her in all of her beautiful glory. So pleased with it. Could not have gone better if I'd tried, frankly. I'm so happy with it. I do want to get rid of this and get a nicer, like sleeker looking one, because it's so boxy and chunky. And I think it would just look a lot cleaner if we have a thinner glass one. Not a necessity right now. The other things were quite easy for us to do in one go, because it kind of made sense, but then this I can kind of do whenever, because it's not attached to anything. It's not going to affect anything else. So to give a quick roundup of everything, what went wrong, what went right? What went right? The sink. so happy with the sink, and the fact that Sam managed to figure out how to do it after watching some YouTube videos and learn how to plumb. Fantastic. Same with the tiling. I had a little bit of experience with tiling before, but not really tiling a proper kitchen, especially not in herringbone tiles. However, I loved doing it. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I actually really enjoyed it. I love doing all the adhesive sticking, I love doing the grouting. Caulking was horrible, but it's so satisfying to know that I actually did it, and it just looks so nice. Sam obviously did all of the cutting of the tiles, so without him I wouldn't have been able to stick them to the wall, so it's a good team effort from Sam and I. Okay, what went wrong or wouldn't do again? I don't know if I would do these vinyl surfaces again, because they are very sticky and they do look lovely. However, the plastic on them is so thin that it rips so easily, and this one I had to do 3 times, I think, because this corner kept ripping out of place, and then there's nothing you can do about it because you've ruined the entire vinyl strip. So I had to take the whole thing off, start again, take the whole thing off, start again, and in the process of doing it as well, we've got a couple of like nicks that have been taken out from using, I don't know, maybe like the knives or the Stanley knives that we were using to do the kitchen, or the grouting utensils, I don't know, something made some little nicks in here. So we've already got a bit of a hole in the vinyl here, got a couple of like weird bits here, a couple around there. However, because it's got such a good texture to it, it's completely unnoticeable, and you wouldn't know unless you did what I just did and like run your hands on it. So you have to be so careful with it. Make sure you're using chopping boards, make sure you've got your trivet as well, because you can't put anything straight from the oven on the side, which I never did before anyway. I'd always put stuff on the oven straight onto the hob because of fire hazards. That's just the way I was brought up. I was never taught to put stuff on the sides that was boiling hot. But you have to do that now. So I kind of do it sometimes if I'm putting plates on the side, just to protect it, because I'm so nervous that I'm going to rip a hole in the vinyl. But the last few weeks has been, touch wood, has been okay. We've not actually made any new marks, but again, if we do, we just have to rip it off and re-stick it. But then we have to take the caulking out, so it's a whole ordeal that I don't really want to ever have to do. But obviously we'll do if I have to, because they're only about £20 per reel, and they were from DC Fix, which is Amazon, Wilco's, B&Q. They kind of sell them everywhere, but we got ours on Amazon, and it's the San Marino Ike colour, I think. The tiles were from wallsandfloors.com, or just Walls and Floors. The grout, I think, was just from Amazon, I can't remember. I think we got, maybe it was from Walls and Floors. I think we got most of the stuff, like the adhesive, from Walls and Floors as well. But aside from that, incredibly happy with this kitchen. And would I do it again? Yes, I would. Would I even do the vinyl again? Yes, I would, because it's so much cheaper. You just have to be extra careful with it. So on that note, thank you very much if you have been watching this whole renovation story of the kitchen. It's been a ride, but well worth it, and it wasn't really that expensive. It was definitely under £1,000 to get everything done. Probably less than £500. Probably a bit more, because the sink was about 2, the tiles were about 200, and then we had to get little bits and bobs along the way. So between 500 and 1,000, but to redo a kitchen, I'll take that, because to redo a kitchen is in the thousands. Yeah, so I hope this has been helpful to anybody, or you've enjoyed it. If you have, that's great. Thank you very much. And I've got no idea what my next vlog's going to be, but thanks anyway. Bye.